My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for nearly 25 years. And today I am doing the tech talk around on this beauty behind me. The brand new Saracen Ariel 60 alloy framed long travel enduro bike. And it's the first edit that's been sponsored by Giro clothing, helmets, gloves and Crud XL on the fender as well. So thanks so much to those guys for supporting the channel. So the Ariel is a long-running bike family from Saracen. This is the middle bike in the new family. There's an Ariel 30 with 130mm of travel. There's an Ariel 180 with 180mm of travel. This is the Ariel 60 with 160mm of travel. And there's three different models in this range. This is the Elite, so top end. You've got Fox Factory 38 on the front, and then a Fox DH X2 coil on the back, and this comes in at 4,200 near as damn it. And then there's a pro bike at 3,300, and then there is a entry-level Ariel 60 at 2.5, which is pretty damn impressive. And they all share the same 6013 custom hydroformed frame. So let's have a look at the details on this. In terms of geometry, 64.5 degree head angle, 76.5 degree seat angle. You can see it's pretty tall in the seat tube. That's a definite characteristic, but I mean it's only 460 actually to the bottom of that clamp, 470 to the top of the clamp, but with a 355mm bottom bracket height, that does leave it pretty perched compared to, you know, bikes are starting to come in larger. They're like a 430mm seat tube on there, so it is pretty tall, but the reach is massive. Saracen say 505. I've measured it myself. It's 507, 508, so super long for a large bike, you know, and the extra large is obviously even longer. Back end is 440, and that's the same across all bike sizes. Linkage here is the TRL. That's something that Saracen have been using for a long old time now. You've got a linkage dangling down below the top tube there, and then these kicker linkages here driving the shock from the rear subframe, and then this massive single pivot down here. So it's effectively a single pivot rear swing arm linkage tuned shock ratio. On the more than medium, the TRL comes with a different push link on there and uses a 27.5-inch rear wheel. So it's a mullet bike on the smaller frame sizes. But you get that push link anyway, even with the larges. So you can mullet up your large, or if you get the small or medium, you can put them 29 both ends. So, you know, quite a nice little easy versatile modular system there. You can see there's plenty of chunky frame protection on the chainstay there. There's a bit more under the belly there, but you know, this is a solid frame. It's relatively slim, the base of the seat tube there, but you've got these oversized bearings, and then these verticals here, you know, solid with a little scoop out the back of them. Can buy the frame set alone for 1,500 quid with shock. And as you can see, there's room for a standard bottle in that cage there. There's internal cable routing through the frame, pops out there, under there, it gets secured in behind the chainring there, and then pops into the rear chainstays. And then on the rear, it's rear brake, it's external on the chainstay, but then in the frame up to the front there. One thing that's a point of interest on the frame, 157mm super boost rear axle, so that's wider than a standard 148 boost axle. More and more frames are moving towards this standard, to be honest, but still quite a rarity if you're looking for spares. But the good news is, on this top end bike, the Elite, you're getting a pretty impressive spec package for 4,200. As you can see, it's XT drivetrain, DT Swiss EX511, super tough enduro rims, Maxxis DHR tyres, front and rear, both max grip compound, so super sticky, but you're only getting the EXO protection, so kind of the XC trail carcass, front and rear. I'd expect at least an EXO Plus on the front and maybe a double D on the back, because this bike already weighs 16 kilos before you put pedals on it, so there's a hefty beast here, and you may as well have a heavy duty protection on the rear tyre, especially on a bike that's got a coil shock. I mean, this is designed to take an absolute thrashing, so you know, I'd upgrade that before you burst it, to be honest. Things, you've got a Gillette post on there, Saracen saddle, and you've got quite a nice fancy race face. Next, our carbon cockpit on there with a race face turbine stem, 780mm wide, and then it's a short 40mm stem on there. You know, the steering's all sorted out, and it's a short offset 38 fork here. Brakes are XT as well, 200mm on the front and 180 on the rear, but it's the big powerful 4-pot stoppers, so you know, plenty of anchorage there. And on this 38, it's the floating axle design that keeps everything super plush and smooth. You know, it might be a big heavy fork, but it is absolutely buttery, and you know, a great match for that coil on the back. And like the coil on the back, you've got high and low speed rebound damping there, high and low speed compression damping there, and then on the shock you've got low speed rebound damping there, high and low speed compression damping there, and then high speed rebound damping just tucked in the back. That's a bit of a pain in the arse to get to be honest. You have to fish around with a little bit of an Allen key, but Saracen do have a setup guide for the bike printed in the brochure. Although I did, to be honest, I found it was feeling a little bit oversprung at first. It's a 450-pound spring as standard on this large. I mean, I'm a pretty light rider. I'm a skinny little runt. I've knocked a load of the low speed and high speed compression off it. And you can see, if I come around this side anyway, you can see there's a pedal lever on there anyway. So you can set it up nice and soft without worrying about losing pedal efficiency. And to be honest, 16 kilos, this is a bike that it's not designed to charge up hills. You know, it's not download some heavy metal and burst it out in a couple of seconds. This is a take a podcast with you and plod bike, really, when it comes to climbs. I've just flipped it round so you can see more of the detail here. That massive main pivot there. And the other good news in terms of durability, it comes with a threaded bottom bracket, so nice and easy to service. And you know, this is a bike designed to take a fair amount of hammer over a long period of time, and just it's a proper tank of a machine, as you'd expect for 16 kilos. Good solid ride feel to it from all the riding I've done on it, and that shock, you know, that really knocks it out of the park in terms of push control when things start coming at you really fast and hard. You can see plenty of room around that 2.4 on the rear. Saracen quote a max 2.6 size in a 29 or in a 27.5. And then back along here, you've got that XT brake and an old IS mount. So there's a few extra bolts, but it's a simple and effective way of getting your brake on there. Obviously, this is the top spec model, but if you're looking at the lower spec models, you're looking at really, really good value, entry level, proper bombers. And like I say, there is a 180 bike as well, which is a proper park bike, and that's a degree slacker in the head tube. But interestingly, it's actually 20 mil shorter in reach. So that's designed to be a sort of more agile, playful bike, is the 180, and this is the proper long, stretched out, speed happy enduro beast. And while the weight potentially might get in the way in climbs, you know, that high bottom bracket height means they can run a 170mm crank length, and it'll take a 38 tooth chainring as well. Comes to stand with a 34, but you know, there's space to get a proper milling ring on there if you've got the legs for it. So that's the quick tech talk round. Hope that's been interesting. Brand new bike out 1st of March, so check with your Saracen dealer for availability on that, and on the Ariel 30 and on the Ariel 80 and the rest of the Saracen range. Cracking value, UK design bikes as normal. Like I say, this is the top end one, but it's a really good value range. So thanks very much to Saracen for sending this bike in for test on Bike Perfect. Just thought I'd do a quick tech talk round on the channel as well, and hopefully I'll be doing a live ride review to follow that up, because I have had a lot of fun riding this bike around the crags and the turns of the local trails, which is, you know, what we're kind of restricted to at the moment. This bike really needs a big mountain and a big bike park to properly strut its stuff, but I've got a good idea of how it's ridden just on the stuff round here. So yeah, hopefully doing a live ride on that soon. But for now, thanks very much for Giro, new channel sponsors. Thanks very much to Crud XL Fenders. Thanks very much to my Patreon supporters who give a small monthly amount towards the funding of the channel. They get early, exclusive and behind the scenes edits as a thank you. So if you really like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider pledging a small amount every month to help with videos like this. But for now, you know, click for notifications, subscribe, give the bell button a press or whatever it is to help the algorithm along. Please tell your mates about it. It'd be great to get some more numbers and some more viewers. You know, I'm very happy with the ones I've got, but you know, always good to spread the love and make the channel more popular and bigger, and we can get more bikes in, and I can pick up some more sponsorship and do more stuff for you. But for now, I've been Guy Kesteven on Guy Kes TV, talking about the brand new Saracen Ariel 60. Coil shot on the back, so maximum high and low speed.